Aloha! The name is Roya, and we're continuing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with the long version. Welcome to part 7 of the commentary. So pretty much this is the final work of Sonic 2. Well, not really the actual final work, but this is a long version by Sonic Hachelle Bee, which pretty much brings back all the old levels that really weren't, like, ever used in the final version. You also get to hear a new song. I wonder what that's for. Nevertheless, what I'm doing here is I'm actually activating a few cheat codes. What I just enabled there was the level selector. What I'm about to do here is I'm about to also give myself 14 continues. Not that I need it or anything, it's just for display. Just play the songs in the correct order, and you are in the clear. You are ready to play Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So, yeah. This is the level select. You get to pretty much, play every single level that wasn't in the original. Death Egg now has 3 acts. Even though it's really just Chemical Plant over again, with no water. Mega Mac, sorry. And somehow I end up accidentally failing on the, this is the debugger code I'm trying to do. It's 1992112 and 4. And, yeah, I honestly have no idea as to how I messed that up, but, you know. Nevertheless, what you're about to see here, this entire segment will be all Emerald Hill Zone. Nice looking title card, by the way. Now, the reason why I'm actually taking a lot of time playing Emerald Hill Zone is because, remember how I said in earlier segments how you can get all the Chaos Emeralds in a particular zone? Well, it's the first zone in the game, and there are up to 8 opportunities to get a Chaos Emerald. You have 8 opportunities to get a Chaos Emerald in this zone alone. I don't know any other game aside from Sonic and Knuckles that features this, but here's a new way to get to special stages. Star Posts. If you have 50 rings, you can then go into this. A half-pipe special stage, which pretty much is one of the most definitive special stages I actually can find in my opinion. Although, I still prefer the Sonic 3D Blast Sega Saturn version over this. So, yeah. Now, I'm actually playing this game with 2 controllers, so... yeah, you can actually have one person control Miles in the area. Because trust me, there will be some areas in this particular special stage where you need 2 controllers if you want to get a lot of rings. Because I do remember some times where I have missed a various amount of rings just because I was using player 1 for both Sonic and Miles. Also, if you saw those bombs, they deplete 10 of your rings. Now, you can take 2 or 3 hits depending on the special stage, but when we get to stages like special stages like 6 and 7, where you need 220 rings or 210 rings to actually get the Chaos Emerald, you don't want to get hit by these bombs, because these bombs will do a serious number on you. Again, as I said, you can pretty much screw up like once, but screw up more than once and you pretty much might fail the stage. I'm just putting that out there because it's possible. One thing that's actually a bit different this time around is you actually can now get a 10,000 point bonus whenever you get a Chaos Emerald, which I find pretty interesting. I like having extra points for 1-ups. You'll actually see that by the end of this stage, I'll have over 100,000 points. And it's because of special stage bonus alone. And now it's time to show off the new invincibility stars. It looks good, I just don't like it. I don't like this new design for Sonic's invincibility stars. I mean, it's definitely a major improvement over the Sonic 1 invincibility stars, but I prefer the beta version only because it was less stars, it wasn't so shiny. It actually looked like invincibility. But then again, it brings back the old Sonic 1 invincibility music, but remixed a little bit, so it's not exactly the same, in my opinion. This is actually a particular opening to a special stage where you might need 2 controllers, only because those big gaps of rings are actually not possible to get as one character alone. You need to have both Sonic and Miles for this particular segment. In fact, another funny thing about the special stages is that if you're playing as Sonic or Miles alone, you actually have to get less rings than you would if you were playing them in co-op. Like, this is co-op mode. If you were playing one-player mode with one character, though, you actually have to get less rings. Like, I think Sonic and Miles would only have to get 130 for this particular stage, and I know in the Knuckles version of this game that Knuckles, he actually takes... You only have to get like 30 or 20 less rings than what Sonic and Miles have to get together. And I don't know how I survived that bomb. I honestly have no idea. The special stage controls are actually pretty good too. If you're playing as, like, if you're doing co-op and you have both Sonic and Miles on screen, the funny thing is, if you jump in your Miles or if you jump in your Sonic, well, regarding that both characters are being controlled by separate people, or separate controllers, Miles will actually jump in front of Sonic, and Sonic will actually jump in front of Miles, and that actually works well if you're playing two-player versus mode, which I will show off with my friend Gabriel, regarding that he's around. So yeah, one day he and I will do two-player versus mode with the special stages, and you'll see how that works. You can pretty much duck over your opponent with that. It's pretty awesome. Also, fun fact about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is probably the only game that's ever gotten, like, more hacking utilities than the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I'm a member of Sonic Retro, or at least I was a trial member of Sonic Retro. Currently, I'm a trial member of SSRG. And there are a lot of applications that they have for this one particular game. In fact, there's even a Gens emulator which can emulate 3D HD on a single emulator itself. It's surprising, but it's only compatible with Sonic 2 and Knuckles in Sonic 2. I don't know what was the concept of that in particular. Like, why would you even bother making an emulator that's only 3D capable for two games? Well, of course it's in its beta status, so I can forgive that. I can forgive the retro members for that. But then again, this is actually a good idea if you're actually wanting to play Sonic games in HD. If you want to see how HD texture layers work and whatnot, it's pretty interesting. This game is also getting an HD remake. I don't even know if that project is still being worked on. The project was called Sonic the Hedgehog 2 HD, which I hope was not a reference to Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. I honestly hope that that was not a reference to that, because I would honestly flip if that was the case. But then again, what am I complaining about? It's Sonic 2, one of the best games ever made. It's Clement's favorite game anyways. It's not my favorite because I had a lot of trouble with this game. Yeah, when I was a kid, there were a lot of times when I was like, you know what, I don't want to fight Robotnik. I'm turning off the game right as Act 2 begins. Yeah, I was so afraid of fighting boss stages. Yeah, I don't know why, but I was. Nevertheless, I actually have nothing more to say since this is the end of the segment. We'll get to part 2 where we tackle Emerald Hill Zone Act 2 in part 2. So yeah, see you then.